This video, by Samuel Mutahi, covers chapter 9 to 16 of his book. This book is not an attack. It is not bitterness. It is not rebellion. It is observation. It is the documentation of systems many experience but few articulate. It is the decoding of patterns many feel but cannot name. I do not claim moral superiority. I do not claim perfection. I simply refuse to be blind. And if these words unsettle you, ask yourself why. Because the awakening does not destroy truth. It only exposes illusion. This is the metamorphosis, and once it begins, there is no going back. Chapter 9, The Arrival, When Faith Looked Like Safety. When I landed in America, the first person who picked us up from the airport was a pastor. At that moment, I felt relieved. I thought, if a pastor is involved, the path must be safe. I believed the presence of religion meant structure, protection, goodwill, order. No one warned me that religion, when weaponized, becomes the most effective form of psychological control. No one told me that faith mixed with power produces obedience, not freedom. From that very first connection, the problems quietly began. Most of the people I was connected to in the name of help were church elders or respected community figures. They spoke softly, quoted scripture, promised guidance, yet behind closed doors, they exploited labor, delayed payments, used young men as disposable tools, hid behind God whenever questioned. Their holiness stopped exactly where accountability began. And that was my first lesson. Spiritual language is often used to lower your guard before the trap is set. Chapter 10. How help becomes a contract. You never sign manipulation rarely starts with force. It starts with help. A ride, a place to sleep, an introduction, a favor. Nothing is written. Nothing is explained. Nothing is clear. But suddenly, you owe your time, your silence, your obedience. And when you question it, they say, after everything we've done for you, you should be grateful. We are only trying to help. Help that demands silence is not help. Help that punishes independence is not help. Help that becomes leverage is ownership. That's how psychological contracts are formed. And most young men never realize they signed them. Chapter 11. Religious Guilt, The Invisible Handcuffs. The most powerful chains are invisible. Religious guilt works quietly. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It tells you, you're ungrateful for questioning. You're rebellious for setting boundaries. You're prideful for wanting better. You're sinful for walking away. And the moment you assert yourself, Scripture is weaponized. God is invoked. Shame is activated. Fear is reinstalled. Not because God demands it, but because control needs a higher authority to justify itself. That's when I understood. Some people don't serve God. They use God. Chapter 12. Why enlightened men are a threat. An enlightened man is dangerous to broken systems. He asks questions. He sees patterns. He doesn't drink the Kool-Aid. He doesn't respond emotionally. He doesn't beg for validation. That's why communities that thrive on control discourage thinking, mock discipline, distract with noise, punish independence. Because once a man understands the system, he no longer feeds it, and systems that feed on dependency cannot survive clarity. Chapter 13. Silence, the language of power. There is a stage beyond anger, beyond confrontation, beyond explanation. Silence. Not passive silence, strategic silence. I stopped explaining myself, stopped defending my choices, stopped responding to manipulation. And something interesting happened. The manipulators panicked because silence removes access. It removes leverage. It removes emotional supply. Silence says, I see you, and I no longer need to react. That is power. Chapter 14. Detachment is not disrespect. Walking away does not make you arrogant. Detaching does not make you evil. Choosing solitude does not make you lost. It makes you free. Some people confuse access to you with entitlement. Some communities confuse proximity with ownership. But growth requires distance. Clarity requires separation. Metamorphosis requires isolation. You cannot evolve in the same environment that benefits from your confusion. Chapter 15. Rebuilding the self without an audience. True transformation is quiet. No announcements, no explanations, no applause, just discipline, structure, skill building, financial literacy, mental clarity. I stopped trying to be understood. I focused on becoming precise. Because when you rebuild without an audience, you become immune to manipulation. No one can pull strings they can't see. Chapter 16. The New Standard. I no longer measure people by titles, religion, community standing, loud morality. I measure by consistency, accountability, discipline, integrity in private. I no longer ask, who is respected? I ask, who is free? Because freedom leaves traces, and control always leaks.